Hello students, welcome to video classes. So today we are going to discuss about the compound microscope. So in the last class we have discussed about the simple microscope. Okay, in the simple microscope we have discussed that how it will be works and where the final image will form and which type of image is going to be formed. So when I am going to use the simple microscope, the virtual, erected, enlarged image will be formed behind the object. And we have calculated the magnification of the simple microscope in two conditions. One is at the near point and another one is at the far point. And the near point and far point, the magnification formulas are very important because the same formulas we are going to use in the compound microscope and also in the further telescope also we are going to use itself. Okay. So that's briefly I am just going to explain what are the magnifications here. So in the case of simple microscope, the magnification at near point, the formula is m is equals to 1 plus d by f. This is the magnification at the near point. 1 plus d by f. D represents the least distance of distinct division. That value is constant, and f represents the focal length. Next one is the far point. At the far point, the magnification we have calculated m is equals to d by f. Okay, so this is at the far point and this is at the near point. So you must remember these two formulas in the further compound microscope also. Okay. Now let us see, we are going to discuss about the compound microscope. So before going to discuss about the compound microscope, it is very essential to know about the construction of the compound microscope first. Okay. I think all of you have seen the microscopes in your laboratory, especially for the BPC students. So when I going to refer to the microscope is going to have a tube will be there, a horizontal tube. How it is going to be arranged? The horizontal tube will be arranged the two coaxial cylindrical tubes. Okay, two coaxial cylindrical tubes are going to be inserted each other. So they are going to be inserted like this. One tube and another tube is arranged inside. And one lens is going to be placed here, and another lens is going to be placed here, and these two are going to be connected to a screw. So whenever you are just going to rotate this screw, I think whenever you are going to see the microscope, a long tube will be there. In the long tube what happened, the two tubes are going to be inserted each other. Okay, so that means they are going to be coaxially arranged so that one tube is going to be moving over the other tube. Okay, one tube will move over the other tube, like that the arrangement will be there. And there is a screw is going to be provided when you are going to rotate that screw. Okay, if you are going to rotate one screw, what happened? The distance between the two lenses will be increases. If you are going to rotate in another direction, the distance between the lenses will be decreases. Okay, one lens you are going to be arranged it here, another lens you are going to arrange it here. So whenever you are going to change this screw, okay, you are rotating the screw, what happened? This tube is going up or this tube is going down. When this tube is going up, what happened? The distance between the lenses decreases. And whenever it is decreasing down or you are going to be rotating in another direction, what happened? The lens is coming in the downward direction. In this way what happens? You can change the distance between the two lenses. Okay, this is the main arrangement will be. And most important thing is, whatever the lens is there which is near to the object will be called as a objective lens. And whatever the lens we are using to see the image, final image, that will be called as a eye lens. That means the compound microscope will contain the two types of the lenses. One is called the eye lens and another one is called the objective lens. The objective lens is always near to the object and the eye lens is near to the eye, from where we are going to see the final image. In this one, if you are going to place the object here, this microscope, then this will become the objective lens and this will become the eye lens. So overall what happens here, the two cylindrical tubes are going to be arranged on each other so that one can move over the other when you are going to use the rack and pinion screw. And whatever the screw we are going to be rotating here, this screw will be called as a rack and pinion screw. Okay, by using this rack and pinion screw, you can change the distance between the two lenses itself. Okay, this is the construction of the compound microscope. Okay, so the microscope will contain how many lenses? Two lenses. One is called the objective lens and another one is called the eye lens. And one more important thing in this compound microscope is always the objective lens focal length will be less and the eye lens focal length will be large. Okay, small focal length of eyepiece objective lens we are going to use and the large focal length of eye lens we are going to use in the case of compound microscope. So all of you must concentrate on the diagram part, because the diagram part will be little bit complicated. So many rays and diagrams will be there, and the points and the distances we are going to measuring. So remember very carefully, when you are going to understand the diagram very clearly, each and every part, where the object you are taking and how many images are producing, who is the final image is producing, and what are the distances between them. If you know perfectly, then it will becomes very easy to solve the problems. That means if you want to solve the problems, you need to know complete diagram in your mind with complete distances also. So that's why everybody must concentrate on the diagram part very carefully. Okay. Let us discuss the construction of the compound microscope, how the ray diagram will be there. So first what happens, I am going to take the principal axis. Okay, I am going to take the principal axis here. This is the principal axis I am taking. Okay, this is the principal axis. We have already discussed that the principal axis length you can extend up to the infinitive distance. After that, I am going to take one lens, small focal length of the lens I am taking here. Small focal length of the lens. This is a small focal length of the lens, which is called the objective lens. And next one I am going to take the large focal length of the lens, which is called the eye lens. Okay, this is a small focal length, which will be called as the objective lens, and this is the eye lens. Let us represent it. This can be represented by L0, and this can be represented by LE. Okay, L0 and LE you can take. Now what you are saying that this is the point F0, focal length of the objective lens, and this point is 2F0. Okay, this is F0, focal length of the objective lens, and this is 2F0. As usually when you are going to refer to the right side also, you are going to get this point will be F0, and this point will be 2F0. Okay, F0, and this point will be 2F0. And here the point you are going to be taking as FE. Okay, what is FE represents? Focal length of the eye lens. Focal length of the eye lens can be represented by FE. Focal length of the objective lens can be represented by F0. Okay, these are the points you are going to be locating here. Small focal length will be works as a objective lens. Large focal length will be act as a eye lens. These two are going to be arranged in a coaxial copper cylindrical tubes. Okay, when they are going to be using the rack and pinion screw is there, then what happens? The distance between the lenses decreases or increases. I think all of you see the binoculars also. In the binoculars also, middle one there is a screw is going to be provided. If you are going to rotate that screw in one direction, the distance between the lenses increases. If you can rotate the screw in another direction, the distance between the lenses is going to be decreases. And whatever the screw we are going to use, that is called the rack and pinion screw. Same as easily, here there is a rack and pinion screw is also there. By using that rack and pinion screw, you can change the distance between the lenses. Okay. Now, let us find out what is going to be happens here. And so let us say that how many optic centers will be there here? 2 optic centers will be there. This is called C1 and this one is called C2. Okay, one is C1 and another one is C2. So C1 and C2, both the 2 optical centers are going to be taken. Now, first what happens, you are just going to place the object. Okay, you are just going to place the object exactly between F0 and 2F0. Okay, object can be represented by OJ. Okay, you are going to place an object OJ where you are going to place F0 and 2F0. This point is very, very important, you have to remember. Where you are going to place the object between F0 and 2F0. Then what happened? The light coming from this object is going to be incident on the first objective lens. Okay, it is going to be incident on the objective lens. So for our convenience, we are going to take the 2 rays only. Let us say that one ray of light is passing through the optic center. Okay, one ray of light is passing through the optic center. And whatever this ray of light is passing through the optic center does not refract and it will be travels like this. And here the image is going to be formed. Okay, it will becomes like this. Next, one more ray of light we are taking which is parallel to the principal axis and is going to be incident on the lens. Okay, it is going to be incident on the lens. Whenever this ray of light is going to be incident on the lens, then what happens? The refraction will take place. the refraction will take place and refracts, and it is going to be concentrated at this point. That means the two rays are going to be concentrating at this place, and here you are going to get the final image. This is the final image, or this is the image, and this image will be called as I1 G1. Sorry, it can be written as IG. Okay, it can be represented by IG. Here IG is going to be produced. Now we understood here, this is the objective lens. Here we are going to take the object and the image is produced IG. Now, whatever this distance is there, this distance is called, okay, this distance is called, what is this distance is called? U0. Why it will be called as a U0? Because this is the objective distance for the objective lens. Object distance for the objective lens, that's why U0. Okay, what is U0 represents? Object distance from the objective lens. And what about this distance will represents who is producing this image? This image is produced by objective lens. So that's why it can be represented by V0. That can be represented by V0. That means what is V0 represents here? Image distance produced by the objective. Okay, it will represent V0. Okay, this is the part you have to remember. Now, what is going to be happens here? Whatever the image is produced by the objective lens will becomes, okay, will becomes object for the eye lens. You understood here? Whatever the image is produced by the objective lens will becomes object for the eye lens. And who will produce the final image? The final image is produced by the eye lens. Okay. Now, what happens here? This IG will becomes object for the eye lens. That means this distance, okay, this distance can be written as UE. Okay, the distance can be written as UE. What is this UE represents? Objective distance for the eye lens. Okay, object distance for the eye lens, UE. Because this image will becomes object for the eye lens. That's why this distance can be written as UE. Now, the rays of light we are going to take in here. One ray of light is going to be passing through the optic center. Okay, one ray of light is passing through the optic center like this, and it does not refracts. And one more ray of light we are going to be taking here, from here, and it is also going to be refracts. Whatever the ray of light is going to be refracted, and they are going to be refracted through the lens, and from here we are going to see the image. Okay, behind the eye lens, from here we are going to see the image. When you are going to see the image from this side, okay, when you are going to see the image from this side, whatever the refracted rays are there, you are going to extend back. When you are going to extend back the refracted rays, the rays are going to be traveling like this, and here the image is going to be formed. Okay, here the image is going to be formed at this place, and whatever this place is there, this one is also going to be changes, and it is going to be incident here, and it will be refracts in this direction. Okay, it will be refracts in this direction. So it can be retraced back. That's why you can take this as the dotted lines like this. Here the final image is going to be produced, which can be called as I dash G dash. Okay, what it will be called as a I dash and G dash. Now listen what happens here. This will becomes object for the eye lens, and the final image is produced behind the object. Can you tell me what is the nature of this image? Inverted or erected? Inverted image is going to be produced, and this is also coming in this position. So in this way the image is going to be produced, and this image distance can be represented by capital D. This distance is going to be represented by capital D, which is called the least distance of distinct vision. Okay, what it will be called as a least distance of distinct vision, and the final image is going to be produced. So this is the diagram part completely. What are the changes are going to be produced in the process. Okay, so totally how many times the image is producing? The 2 times the image is producing. First time the image is produced by the objective lens, and the final image is produced by the eye lens. Okay, overall, who is the final image is producing? The eye lens is producing the final image. And where this final image is going to be produced? At a least distance of distinctive vision. And where the object you are going to be placing? The object is placed between f0 and 2f0. Okay, so this is the conditions you need to remember here. And now it's the time to discuss about the magnification of compound microscope. The magnification of compound microscope is same as like the magnification of the simple microscope. Whatever the definition we are using, same type of definition we have to use, because simple microscope and the compound microscope belongs to the same category. So that's why, what is the definition we have discussed? The angle made by the image at the object to the angle made by the object, and when both are placed at the least distance of distinctive vision, will be called as a magnification of the simple microscope. The same concept will be takes place here. So for that purpose, what I am going to take is, I am going to take the same size of the object at the place of the final image. The same size of the object I am going to take at the final image. That means this will take place up to here, and here the object is going to be taking place at here. This is I dash and what you are going to call it as J dash. Okay, I dash and J dash. So I dash and J dash, this is exactly equals to OG. And now I am going to take a straight line to the optic center of the eye lens. Optic center of the eye lens I am going to take it here. Now, can you tell me? This is the angle made by the image. So that's why it will be called as beta. Okay, it will be called as beta. And this is the angle made by, okay, this is the angle made by the object. That's why it will be called as alpha. Okay, it will be called as alpha. So in this way, the image is going to take place. Now, how can you find out the magnification? Magnification means the angle made by the ratio of the angle made by the image at the eyepiece or the eye to the angle made by the object at the eye, when both are placed at the least distance of distinctive vision. Because this one also, where you are going to be taken? At the least distance of distinctive vision you are going to be taken. So in this way the image is going to be formed, and this is called the magnification of compound microscope. The same formula will be there. Okay, so this is the ray diagram, and this ray diagram is very important because many times this question is asked in the 3 marks and the 2 marks questions. Just the ray diagram they will ask. Okay, draw the neat ray diagram with labels of the compound microscope. Then you need to draw the diagram here. If you want to draw the diagram, no need to by heart anything. Just simply remember the concept that where you are going to place the object and where the image will form, and that image will, where the final, who is going to form the final image, and at what distance it is going to be formed. If you understand this, then blindly you can draw the diagram very neatly. Okay. Once again, just refer to the diagram part here. This small lens will be act as a objective lens, and large focal length lens will be act as a eye lens. And the object is placed between f0 and 2f0. Then what happens? The image of this object is produced by the objective lens at a distance of v0 in front of the eye lens. Okay, in front of the eye lens. Now what happens? This image will become object for the eye lens, and final image is produced at the least distance of distinctive vision, which is called D. Okay, and refer to the terms here. U0 represents objective distance from the objective lens. V0 represents image distance produced by the objective lens. What is VE represents? Object distance for the eye lens, and D represents the least distance of distinctive vision produced by the eye lens. Okay, what is the, who is the final image here? I dash G dash. I dash G dash is the final image which can be produced by the eye lens itself. Okay, this is the process. And now, in the last class we have also discussed that when you are going to think about the optical instruments, there are the 2 types of the arrangements will be there. One is the near point adjustment, and another one is the far point adjustment. Okay, near point adjustment and the far point adjustment. Let us see that how the near point and the far point adjustments are going to be placed at here itself. So to produce the near point adjustment and the far point adjustment, we are going to use the rack and pinion screw. Because there is a screw is going to be provided. When you are going to rotate the screw in one direction, the distance between the lenses increases. When you are going to rotate in another direction, the distance between the lenses will be decreases. So that's why what happened, by using this rack and pinion screw, you can adjust the compound microscope one time in the near point adjustment, or you can adjust in the far point adjustment also. So in the near point adjustment, what is going to be happen? Okay, all of you concentrate here. For the near point adjustment, for the near point and the far point adjustment, where the object should be placed between F0 and 2F0. Okay, whatever the position you can take, either the near point adjustment or the far point adjustment, the object is taken at between F0 and 2F0. After that, what happened, by using this rack and pinion screw, for near point adjustment we are discussing. For near point adjustment, what happens, you are going to adjust the rack and pinion screw so that this image is produced. Okay, this IG image is produced between FE and the optic center of the eye lens. Okay, you have to adjust the rack and pinion screw such that the image is formed between FE and optic center. When the image is going to be produced between FE and the optic center, no doubt, obviously, where the final image will form, the final image is going to be formed at the D, least distance of distinctive vision. Okay, this is the near point adjustment. Next one is the far point adjustment. For the far point adjustment, what happened? Again, we are going to adjust the rack and pinion screw, okay, in such a way that this image is going to be produced exactly at the focal length. Okay, when this image is produced exactly at the focal length, then immediately what happened? The final image will produce at the infinitive distance. Then what it will be called as a far point adjustment. Okay, that will be called as a far point adjustment. So that means the near point adjustment and the far point adjustment will be depend on the adjustment of the rack and pinion screw. Based on the rack and pinion screw, either you can keep the final image at the least distance of distinctive vision, or you can keep the final image at the far point at the infinitive distance also. Okay, so this is the near point and the far point adjustments. Right. After that, we are going to discuss about the magnification. We are going to refer to the magnification. In the case of simple microscope, only one lens is there. So that's why directly I calculated the magnification. But here, how many lenses are there? 2 lenses are there here. The 2 lenses are there means the resultant magnification is the product of the 2 lenses. That means we need to find out the magnification of the first lens and the magnification of the second lens. And you are going to multiply them. Then only what happens, you are going to get the final magnification here. So that means the magnification of the compound microscope. The magnification of the compound microscope, this is the diagram part you can remember. Okay. The magnification of the compound microscope, M is equals to M0 into ME. This is the magnification of the compound microscope. M0 represents magnification of the objective lens. ME represents magnification of the eye lens. So in this compound microscope or in the telescope also, objective lens for magnification we have to calculate, but no need of the eye lens, because whatever the eye lens we are using, this eye lens will be act as a simple microscope. Okay, in the compound microscope or in the telescope, whatever the eye lens is there, this eye lens will be act as a simple microscope, and the magnification of the simple microscope we are already calculated. So that's why no need to do any calculations for the eye lens. Only we have to find out the calculation for the objective lens. So in this one, the derivation part is not required here. So directly I am going to tell you the magnification of the objective lens. The magnification of the objective lens M0 is equals to, the magnification of the objective lens M0 is equals to minus V0 by U0. This is the magnification of objective lens. M0 is equals to minus V0 by U0. What is V0 represents? Image distance produced by the objective lens, V0, from this point to this point. Next one is U0. U0 is the object distance for the objective lens, and negative sign indicates that the image is going to be inverted. So M is equals to minus V0 by U0. And now, so even we are going for the near point or the far point, the objective magnification does not change. Okay, remember very carefully, either the near point or the far point, the magnification of the objective lens does not change. Which magnification will changes? Simple microscope, eye lens magnification only changes. And we know that for near point, what is the formula? 1 by 1 plus D by F. And what is the far point formula? D by F. Based on that, what happens? The total magnification of the compound microscope will be changes. Okay. Once again, don't forget, for compound microscope, for near point and far point, the objective lens magnification does not changes. It is constant. What is that value? V naught by U naught. For near point and far point, which magnification will changes? Eye lens magnification will changes because it will be act as a simple microscope. So that's why at the near point, okay, at the near point, the magnification M is equals to, at the near point the magnification M is equals to M naught into ME. M naught means what you can write? Minus V naught by U naught into ME. ME means eyepiece. Eyepiece means for the near point adjustment. What is the formula I can write? 1 plus D by FE. This is the formula to find out the magnification of compound microscope at the place of near point adjustment. Near point adjustment means by using the rack and pinion screw, we are going to keep the image between FE and C. So M is equals minus V naught by U naught into 1 plus D by FE. Formula is very, very important to solve the problems, especially for competitive part also. Okay. Refer to the terms once again. V naught, image distance produced by the objective lens. U naught, objective distance from the objective lens. One is constant. D, distance of the final image near point. D value is constant, and we know that what is the value will be 25 centimeters. And FE represents focal length of eye lens. Okay, focal length of the eye lens. This is the formula to find out the magnification at near point. And what is the magnification at far point? The magnification at the far point, M is equals to M naught. Okay, the magnification of objective lens does not changes. It will be minus V naught by U naught into. But eye lens magnification changes. For far point, what is the magnification will be? D by FE. This is the magnification at the far point. This is the magnification at the far point. M is equals to minus V naught by U naught into D by FE. And what is the formula? General formula, M is equals to M naught into ME. 1, 2, 3. These three formulas you need to remember. At the same time, you should able to understand. Keep the mind, okay? Or total diagram you should be keep in your mind, so that if in the examination, if he is asking any question, then you should able to understand. You have to imagine the diagram. Then it will becomes very easy to solve the problem itself. That is, M is equals to minus V naught by U naught into D by FE. Okay, these are the magnification formulas, and this is the compound microscope. Next, there is one more important concept is there in the case of compound microscope. What is that one? That is the length of the tube. Okay, length of the microscope. The length of the microscope means nothing but the distance between objective lens and the eye lens will be called as a length of microscope. And this length of microscope is different in the different arrangements. That means at the near point adjustment, the length is different, and at the far point adjustment, the length is different. So, what is the length of the telescope means? Simply what you can say, length of the telescope is nothing but the distance between the objective lens and the eye lens. Okay. So, refer to the diagram here. What are the diagram we are drawing here? Which adjustment it is? Near point adjustment or the far point adjustment? It is the near point adjustment. Why it is a near point adjustment? Because the image produced by the objective is placed between FE and C. So that's why this is the near point adjustment. In the case of near point adjustments, what is the length of the telescope? Length of the microscope L is equals to, length of the microscope can be represented by L. The distance between objective lens and the eye lens. The distance between these two. Can you find out the length between them? From this point to this point, V naught. From this point to this point, it is UE. That means L is equals to what we can write? V naught plus UE. This is the length of the microscope in the case of near point adjustment. Okay, in the case of near point adjustment, L is equals to V naught plus UE. What is the length of the microscope in the far point adjustment? In the far point adjustment, what are the changes you are going to do? In the far point adjustment, what are the images produced in here? We are just going to move to FE. Okay, if this image is going to produce FE, then what is this distance will becomes? FE. Okay, this distance will becomes FE, and this distance will becomes V naught. That means the length of the microscope in the case of far point adjustments is V naught plus FE. This is the length of the microscope at the far point adjustment. length of the microscope at the near point adjustment. Like that, we can find out the length of the microscope also, because the length of the microscope is not constant. It is always changes between the 2 points itself, near point adjustment and the far point adjustment. Okay, this is the total explanation of the compound microscope. Okay, magnification formulas and the length also very important, you need to concentrate. Okay, how could you find out the length here? Okay, so this is the compound microscope explanation, how the image is going to be produced right here. So I request all of you that just practice the diagram very carefully. Okay, and because it is very important for 2 marks or 3 marks, only will ask the diagram. The derivation part is not required here. Just remember the simple microscope magnification formulas that will help you to find out the magnification of the total compound microscope. Okay. So that's all for today. See you in the next class. Thank you.